Have you ever felt like someone had a quiet control over you, and you didn't even notice it happening? You didn't see the strings, but they were there. Maybe it was the way they made you question your decisions, or how you always seemed to bend to their will without them asking. This isn't some over-the-top form of manipulation. It's subtle, invisible, and before you know it, you've been caught in a web you didn't even realize was there. You might not even notice until much later when it's too late. Welcome to the world of toxic Sigma males, where control doesn't need to be loud, aggressive, or overt. It's the art of influence without saying a word. And that's exactly what we're going to explore today. How toxic Sigma males use psychological tactics to control you without you even knowing. But we won't stop there. By the end of this video, you'll not only recognize these tactics, but you'll also learn how to defend yourself from them and master the positive Sigma traits that make them so influential. So buckle in. We're diving deep into the mind games, the manipulation, and the silent control that can trap you if you're not careful. The biggest misconception about control is that it has to be obvious. People think it means shouting orders, throwing out ultimatums, or forcing someone into submission. But that's not how toxic Sigma males operate. They don't need to be loud. They don't need to dominate the conversation or the room. In fact, their power comes from doing the exact opposite. They sit back, quietly observe, and let you walk right into their web. Toxic Sigma males control you by making you believe you're in control. They let you think that every decision is yours, that you're the one calling the shots. But in reality, they're orchestrating everything in the background. This is the first red flag you need to look for. Ask yourself, are you really making decisions for yourself? Or are you constantly factoring in how this one person might react, how they might feel, what they might think? This form of manipulation is so subtle, so quiet, that you might not even realize it's happening until much later. And by then, you've already been wrapped up in their control. Let's talk about the first major tactic toxic Sigma males use to control you: silence. Now that might not sound like much. After all, how could silence be a tool for manipulation? But think about it. How often are we surrounded by noise, by people talking, by distractions? Silence stands out in a way that few things can. And toxic Sigma males know this. They use silence strategically. It makes you uncomfortable. It makes you question yourself. Picture this. You're in the middle of a disagreement with someone, and instead of responding, they go completely silent. No arguments, no counterpoints, just silence. You start to wonder, did I say something wrong? Should I apologize? Did I overreact? You begin to second-guess everything you said, even if you were the one in the right. By saying nothing, they make you feel like you're the one who messed up. They don't need to lift a finger or say a word. They just let the silence do the work for them. This is one of the most subtle and effective ways a toxic Sigma male can control you. It's a psychological mind game, and if you don't recognize it for what it is, you'll find yourself falling into the trap of over-apologizing, over-explaining, and constantly trying to make things right when there's nothing to fix. The next tactic toxic Sigma males use is ambiguity. They love to keep you guessing. One day they're giving you all the attention in the world, texts, calls, compliments, and the next they go completely cold. You're left wondering, what happened? Did I do something wrong? Why are they pulling away? This hot and cold behavior creates a cycle of emotional highs and lows. And here's the catch. That uncertainty makes them addictive. There's a psychological principle at play here called intermittent reinforcement. It's the same concept behind gambling addiction. You don't win every time, but the unpredictable nature of it keeps you hooked. When someone's attention is unpredictable, it feels more valuable when you do get it. Toxic Sigma males use this to their advantage by giving you just enough to keep you engaged, but never enough to make you feel secure. They keep you on your toes, constantly guessing, constantly chasing their validation. It's how they maintain control. This ambiguity can also show up in their communication. You might ask them a direct question only to get a vague or cryptic response. They never give you the clarity or reassurance you're looking for. But here's the thing, they don't want you to feel reassured. They want you to be uncertain because that uncertainty makes you dependent on them. It keeps you invested in figuring them out. Number 3, playing the victim. At first glance, Sigma males are often seen as fiercely independent and self-reliant. But when it comes to the toxic side of this archetype, they're not above playing the victim. Why would someone so independent play the victim, you ask? Because they know that vulnerability is a powerful tool for manipulation. Here's how it works. The toxic Sigma male will carefully curate moments where they show vulnerability. They'll share how they've been hurt, misunderstood, or let down. This triggers an emotional response in you. Maybe empathy, maybe guilt. And you feel the need to prove that you're different. You want to show them that you won't hurt them like others have, and suddenly you find yourself going out of your way to avoid causing them pain, even if that means compromising your own needs and boundaries. It's a subtle form of emotional blackmail. You're constantly walking on eggshells, afraid that you might trigger their supposed wounds. But the truth is, this vulnerability is often calculated. It's designed to make you feel responsible for their emotional well-being, even when it's not your burden to carry. Number 4, gaslighting. Now, we can't talk about toxic manipulation without touching on gaslighting. This is one of the most insidious psychological tactics, and toxic Sigma males have it down to an art. Gaslighting is all about making you question your reality. It's when someone twists events or conversations, downplays your feelings, and makes you doubt your perceptions. And toxic Sigma males are experts at it. Let's say you confront them about something they did that hurt you. Instead of owning up to it, they'll turn the situation around, making you feel like you're overreacting or being too sensitive. You're making a big deal out of nothing. That's not what I meant at all. You're just being paranoid. Over time, this constant dismissal of your feelings starts to chip away at your confidence. You begin to question whether you're really seeing things clearly. Maybe you are overreacting. Maybe you are being too emotional, and that's exactly what they want. By making you doubt yourself, they gain control. You stop trusting your own instincts and start looking to them for validation and clarity. Finally, we come to one of the most defining characteristics of Sigma males: emotional detachment. Sigma males are known for being independent and emotionally self-sufficient. But in the hands of a toxic Sigma, this trait can be weaponized. Their emotional detachment makes them seem indifferent, even aloof. They're not going to get overly emotional or attached to anyone. On the surface, this might seem like a sign of strength, but when it's used as a tactic, it's incredibly damaging. In relationships, this detachment makes you feel like you're always chasing after their approval. They give you just enough to keep you hooked, but never enough to make you feel secure or valued. It's a game of constant pursuit. You're always trying to get closer, but they remain just out of reach. This kind of emotional manipulation leaves you feeling like you're not enough, like you're the one failing to meet their expectations. And that's how they maintain control. They keep you in a constant state of striving for their affection, validation, or attention. So now that we've explored these tactics, how do you protect yourself? How do you break free from the control of a toxic Sigma male? The first step is recognizing the tactics for what they are. Once you can see the manipulation, it loses much of its power. Awareness is key. But recognition alone isn't enough. You need to set firm boundaries. Toxic Sigma males thrive on blurred lines and emotional vulnerability. By setting clear, non-negotiable boundaries, you make it harder for them to manipulate you. And here's the crucial part. You need to stick to those boundaries. Toxic Sigma males are experts at testing limits, seeing how far they can push before you break. But when you stay consistent and hold firm, they lose their grip. Another key to breaking free is to build your own emotional independence. Toxic Sigma males often target people who are dependent on their validation. By cultivating your own emotional resilience and self-reliance, you become less susceptible to their manipulation. You also need to learn to trust your own perceptions and instincts. Gaslighting can make you doubt yourself, but the more you practice trusting your gut, the harder it becomes for someone to manipulate your reality. Finally, if you find yourself in a relationship with a toxic Sigma male, don't be afraid to walk away. It's not your responsibility to fix them, and you don't owe them your emotional energy. Toxic Sigma males may be subtle in their control tactics, but that doesn't make them any less dangerous. Their power lies in their quiet manipulation, in making you feel like you're the one making the decisions when, in reality, they're pulling the strings. But now that you know how they operate, you're no longer an easy target. You have the knowledge to recognize these tactics and the tools to protect yourself. Remember, control doesn't always look like domination. Sometimes it's silent, stealthy, and hidden. But once you can see the web, you can free yourself from it. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in more content like this, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, stay strong, stay self-aware, and never let anyone control your mind. Thank you for watching.